And welcome to CBC Alumni Focus. This is Rob Stagenborg. I am the Alumni Director. And earlier this week, the campus was abuzz with our 19th Mid-States Hockey Championship, hence the jersey. I'm here today with our coach, John Jost, a 1984 grad. John, congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's actually our 17th.
17th, excuse me. I was looking at it very quickly. Still, tons of titles. Obviously we set the standard here in this town for high school hockey, but that doesn't come easy. That was something you guys have had to build really since the 80s. Talk about just the program, where it's come and where it is today.
Sure. I mean, Mid-States really started in 1971, and CBC Hockey was one of the charter members. And in the 70s, my brothers actually played through the 70s. That's kind of when I fell in love with it, was going and watching them play at Frost Ice Rink in the city. And we became just more and more competitive. My father became president of the club in 1976. And I was fortunate enough to start playing. My brother Tom and I started playing in the early 80s. And it just kind of evolved from there. We won our first championship in 1983. And then a few more of my brothers started playing. And it just kind of took off. And never dreamed I'd be coaching here. I'm just really blessed to do it, and I love doing it.
Well, a lot of people know that when you played here in the 80s, I mean, you were a standout player. You really had a huge part in that championship. You played with some great guys, Joe Fresh, and we can just go through the list. I don't want to leave anybody out, but
Right.
What a great time to be part of CBC Hockey and just CBC in that mid-80s.
It was awesome. I mean, when I came into CBC, we were kind of the first class that had a group of kids that all, we kind of all played together growing up, and we all came in together. And we were class 84. Mark Staub, and ended up being an All-American goalie at St. Mary's University, and Tim Ryan, and Jeff LaGrasso, Bob Jacobek, Bob Wolf, I can name them all, Kevin Fager, and Joe Fresta. And we just had a core group that came through. And then my brother Tom's class was a strong class in 1983. And, like I said, we ended up winning our first championship 1983 over Smet 10-0. And that kind of got things going. We had Rick Kennedy coaching at the time, who was terrific. He kind of took our program to the next level and, gave us a lot of direction.
Well, certainly, I can't have an interview about CBC Hockey without mentioning your father, who's passed, obviously, was a tremendous supporter of not just CBC Hockey, but CBC in general. Just talk about his legacy on the sport in high school and here at CBC. And obviously, you have tremendous respect for him because he built the program from ground up.
Right. I mean, to be honest, like I mentioned before, he was a CBC grad in 1955. He never played hockey. But my brothers, started going to CBC 74, 75. My brothers Tim and Kim, and he took over the presidency of the club in 76. And he just absolutely loved the school, and he loved the hockey program. And he put a lot of time and resources into it. And as that developed, he continued to be a backer of the school itself. He really, really believes in the De La Sallian philosophy. He really, really believed in the education system at CBC. And it never stopped. He passed away in 2016, but it just never stopped. And then we're trying to keep that tradition going as well. And like you said, he gave me the opportunity to coach here. So I'll always be thankful for that. We miss him every
At
day.
the auction this year, Martin Kilquin made a joke. He said, text in if you had a Jost in your class. How many Josts are there, in your immediate family and then with cousins? I mean, you have to talk about a big group of people that have come through here.
Right. Well, we have 7 brothers, that all went through. My brother Jim graduated in 78, and my brother Mike was the last one to come through in 97. So that was 7 of us. We had a sister that actually went to Narrexall, my sister. She was a cheerleader for CBC Hockey back when I played. And then we've had, I believe, 6 grandkids, including my own son, John Jr. We've had, I believe, 6 grandsons now attend CBC and play hockey. So, and my nephew Matthew's now a freshman there, and we have my nephew Michael will be coming in the class of 2025. So, quite a few.
I always wonder, these children of these legacies, do they feel a lot of pressure coming in, especially with a name like Jost? The pressure to play hockey, it's got to be a tough position to put those young guys in.
Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit. I think when they come in and they want to do well, they see the banners on the wall, they see not just with our name, and that's very nice of you to say, but I think for the hockey program in itself, it's something they, when they're coming through grade school, it's something they want to do. They've always wanted to do their whole life is play for CBC hockey. They've gone to games their whole lives, worn the hoodies and all that stuff, and now here's their chance. They don't want to screw it up. They want to be there. That's why I'm so happy this year for Tom Levine. He's a junior, but we've had some heartbreakers while he's there. I'm thrilled for him, along with all our seniors. So yeah, I think there is some pressure there. Whether there's worse pressure in life than this, but no doubt about it, for a young man, there is.
As the hockey coach, you obviously the X's and O's and how to game plan, but a lot of the coaching has been on the counseling side and just working with the students and reassuring them and giving them confidence. And you talk about that role of not just you but your other coaches, developing that whole player, not just the hockey part, but making them into responsible young men.
Well, that's a big part of it. I mean, I coached with two guys that are graduates, Randy Stoff from the class of '88, Nick Carousel from the class of '93, both former champions. But we all believe in the same, philosophy with these young men coming through. And what you said is huge. It's that development from when they're 14, 15 years old until they graduate. And what's unique about high school sports is watching a freshman, maybe playing at the varsity level, and how he interacts with an 18-year-old, and how's that 18-year-old? Have we done a good job with him coming through the ranks that he's going to treat that young kid well, and that's leadership, and that's how we can kind of gauge when, as a kid progresses, have we done a good job? What do we need to do with this guy? Can we do better? That's a big part of it. And, wins and losses are great and everything else. But when we see these alums come back, with kids, and we see our players come back to watch our games, and they're married and they've got good jobs and they're, just good citizens, it's heartwarming. And I'm sure you guys see it all the time out of school too, but it's a neat thing.
I guess you would say some of your greatest success stories maybe don't really show up on the stat sheet. They're just guys who started in maybe unfortunate situations and were able to overcome that and work it. So obviously, not asking you to point out any one particular story, but you have to have a lot of those stories that really touch your heart as a human being, much less a coach.
100%. And we get a lot of emails and texts and things, players that, shoot back and say, hey, thanks for having the patience with me. I know maybe I wasn't maybe I was trouble at that time, but boy, it sure helped me down the road. And, and like on our website, we put a lot about our alums that have gone on to play hockey. We've got hundreds of players that have gone on to play at the Division I ranks. We've got players that have played in the NHL, and that's great. And we're proud of that. But we are just as proud as the guy that's going on, like I said, to be a productive citizen in society. And like you said, it's just that's a great part of the job of seeing that go on.
No, I'm wearing the CBC hockey jersey. I never played. I could never skate. I was pretty uncoordinated, but I got to tell you, it's almost like the CBC alumni hockey mafia out there. It's like all those guys that played hockey, you guys stick together, you get together, whether you graduated in the 80s, the 90s, it's a thing. It's a source of pride. Talk about just the alumni and them coming to you and expressing, whatever they can do to help. And how's it been working for you?
It's a lot. I mean, it's pretty incredible. I had some former parents that started a scholarship fund in my parents' name. And I was shocked at the first time we put it out there, how much people gave back. And then what we decided to do was have an alumni game for that scholarship fund. And that alumni game has grown to the point where we have 3 games in one night. Full to the brim. This past year we couldn't do it due to COVID. We are going to have a game this year. And not just to raise money for the scholarship fund, but to see everyone come back. And like you said, see them with their kids and see what they're doing. And it is a little bit of a mafia. People, they're proud of it, and they want to see us have success. And it's really neat.
I guess it could be a double-edged sword too. Obviously, the support when times are great, but when things aren't going good, there's certainly a lot of people in your ear telling you how to coach hockey a bit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, especially if they have a kid here. No, actually, but no, it's not too bad. Actually, people are very understanding. And we've had the last couple of years, we've had some rough endings, and we know that. And no doubt, we want to make everyone proud. Our entire coaching staff, all the way down to the JV levels. We want to put something out there that they want to come out and see. And we tell our players all the time, go out and make sure you have a good warm up. Make sure you have a professional warm up. Make sure you're out giving us everything you have every single night, not just for yourself and we want to win, but I can't tell you how many alums show up because they want to watch CBC hockey. Not always hockey alums that want to see CBC hockey. They want to see us and what we're about. And they're standing there, and if they see you screwing around, or maybe not taking a serious, you know, we don't like that. So you're right. It's incredible who does come back to see us.
And also, and just talking about mid-states hockey and such, certainly CBC, SLU, and Vianney have always had a bit of a tradition, but a lot of other schools are starting to, field teams, develop their programs. Talk about the entire, landscape here in St. Louis, the high school hockey. Again, we've had several players go to the NHL, some very high-profile players, not just from our school, a lot of schools. So hockey, in this high school era has really, gained a big hold, and you've been really part of that and seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing the percentage of kids that come through here and play high school hockey. We're unique. And first off, it's their 50th year this year, 50 years in the league, and we're our club sport, and basically that means we have the support of our school, but the kids pay to play for the most part. They mirror Misha's rules as far as eligibility and everything else that goes with it, which is a good thing. Like I said, mainly the difference is the kids pay to play. But as far as the brand of hockey, it's incredible to me how many kids that come through the ranks, high-level players that are going on to play Division I and everything that play high school. We are lucky here in St. Louis that the kids get to do both. It can be a pain at times, when they're playing on their high-level AAA Central States teams and they're playing high school, juggling both, because let's face it, we're a winter sport, so we're playing at the same time. But it can work, and it's a benefit of the players because they get to do both. They can play at that high level and get scouted, and they can play high school in front of their buddies and their high school friends. It's a unique situation, and we're lucky. And Mid-States is a good league, and this year they did a heck of a job allowing us to play during some tough times in COVID. So we have to remind ourselves that we were allowed to play, and a lot more than a lot of other cities got. So we're pretty happy with that.
Sure, I had an interesting conversation with Terry Meckler, a soccer coach here, and he was just talking about the chemistry, and you can take people from different talent levels, but you have to eventually get that chemistry going. And what's been your secret, to get these championships going and get that chemistry going? What is your philosophy as you talk to the kids during the season?
Well, I agree with Terry. I mean, there's no doubt you can have every high-end player in the world out there, but they're not necessarily going to win. You have to have some guys, some grinders. You got to have some fourth-line guys that are willing to pay the price. Maybe sit and when they get their opportunity, take advantage of it. That's kind of what we had this year. We had a great mix of kids that had played at a high level. We had some kids that decided, hey, I'm playing high school. I talked about it at the pep rally. It was a really good mix at every position. At every position, we kind of had a good blend of that. And we also had a very good blend of older players showing the younger players the ropes. Great leadership. You cannot put a price tag on leadership. So, you groom these kids coming through, and then we take it serious when we pick a captain. And this year we had a great group. But I think that's probably the most fun of the whole job right there, what you just said and what Terry said is kind of finding that mix of players and the chemistry. Some years are better than others, believe me. But most times that we won, that we have won, it's been outstanding leadership and a great blend of talent. We have a 30-man roster, and only 20 can dress. It's hard to keep everyone happy, especially when you come down the stretch and everybody's healthy and everybody's ready to play. There's some guys that you have to sit. That's probably the toughest part of it. But if you've got a good locker room and you've got good leadership and everybody feels like they're a part of it, everyone's bought in, makes it a heck of a lot easier.
We're talking with John Jost. And John, one thing I like to do these podcasts is give you an opportunity to talk to your buddies in the class of '84. I'm sure you guys see each other. You see a lot of them. So it's not like you haven't seen them in a while, but any sort of message to your classmates out there?
Well, I tell you, I played hockey this morning with a couple of them. We still have a group of 4 or 5 of us that still play hockey on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings at Afton. So sorry about that winning goal this morning, guys, a couple of you. But actually, Joe Fresta's down in Florida right now, a good friend of mine. So I want to say hi to him. And Mark Staub and I work together. So he's just across in one of our other shops. So, yeah, great group of guys. It's a group of guys that I met. Some of them I grew up with, some I didn't. My best friend, Tim Ryan, we didn't meet until we started CBC Sports Camp our freshman year. And now our wives are best friends. And, all our sons are in each other's weddings. And, it's incredible. That's the great part of it. Now, when we get together, all we do is talk about CBC and CBC hockey.
That's great. That's great. Well, John, we appreciate your support again. Obviously, we're proud of you, proud of everything that you've accomplished, and proud of what you bring to our students and our program every day. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on pause. But I want you to say thank you and give you a chance to say goodbye to anybody or any last thoughts you want to give.
I do. I'd like to thank our team this year. at all three levels and congratulate all three teams who had an outstanding season, and our coaching staff, who, to be honest with you, it's second to none. I think top to bottom, it's, all the way on our JV white team. And I also like to thank the administration at CBC for the support they've given us every single year. I mean, there's no way we do some of the things we do without the support. When you know that our school has our back, and you too, Rob, I mean, we just appreciate it very much. So, like I said, it's one of the reasons as coaches, we agree we keep doing this because, it's just, we're surrounded by outstanding people.
Sure. Well, again, thanks so much for what your talents and your gifts that you bring to CBC. I know the school and the students are in a much better place for it. So again, I'm going to put you on pause and we'll hold you over. And this is Alumni Focus. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, Rob.